Hello, my name is Sofia Kanauti and I'm an academic, and this is part of a series I call Critical Distinctions in Media and Politics, where I talk about key issues that we find it difficult to discern in the public realm that is created by the media. And I use the work of Cornelius Castoriadis, of Hannah Arendt, of Stuart Hall, among others, aiming to reach the general public and students in particular. This segment I want to devote to the difference between nationalism and being proud in one's heritage and in one's identity. It comes a little bit, some of the thoughts that I'm going to share with you here come from a comment of a very good student of mine at the University of Cyprus, where I said I was teaching journalism, and I saw it as part and parcel of it to say that we should be proud in our language because it is so beautiful. And I was teaching in Greek language and I'm Greek, in the Greek language and I'm Greek. But of course I have to say I love the English language as well. So when I said that we have to be proud in our language because look how beautiful it is, that student said to me, well, isn't that nationalistic? And I want to explain here how it is not nationalistic at all, actually. And part of it, of course, is that in order to be able to work in a language, you have to love it. In order to be able to work with anything, you have to have the utmost respect for it. And we are, if we are journalists, we are workers of language. If we are academics, we're workers of language. If we're artists, we're workers of language. I mean, literary artists. And if we are even in the political realm, we are workers of language as well, I think. But anyway, I want to explain here how it is not nationalistic to be proud of your language and to be proud of your identity and your heritage. Because nationalism really and racism is something that hates others. There's an issue with others there. It's not an issue with yourself. It's and I'm thinking of Castoriadis' words now, where he says that racism is something that does not allow the other in capital O, to recant. You can't, there's nothing that the other can say to you so as to be with you. You know, there's the us and them, in Arendt's words now, and there's nothing that the other can say to you that you can accept them in the bosom of your own group. So there's a small kind of spherical of your own group, or bigger, depending on the conceptualization of it. But I think what's important here is that the other is not allowed to recant. There's nothing they can do, and that brings us back to opinion and talking about opinion and the truth and how attached we might be to our opinion. In racism, you're not attacking the other. You're not attacking their opinions, you're not attacking their actions, you're not against their actions, you're against them. And in that way, there's nothing they can do to kind of convince you, because, you know, they can't stop being them. So that's part of it. And also I want to make sure that it is understood, and I'm going to use Mumford in this, when he talks about the Western man and how he, in destroying the civilizations that he encountered by going west, or by all the great, I don't know how do you say this, the great explorations, by destroying those civilizations, he deprived his own future generations of great richness in cultures and languages. Yeah. So being proud in one's language, I think, and in one's heritage is part and parcel of understanding and respecting and holding in high esteem other languages and other heritages as well, because then you realize how important they are and how much they have to give to yourself and to your children and to the future generations. I'm also thinking, I want to add a little bit here, I'm thinking a little bit as well of there was this recent problem in A-levels in Britain regarding, I think it was cultural history or history of art history, and this subject was going to be dropped. And I read in a very good newspaper, I read in the opinion section someone saying that well, art history has served the higher classes and it's time to say goodbye. But I think, and I have actually in my thesis, in my PhD thesis, I've used Leboeuf, I think is the name, and not Lakoff. Of course it's Leboeuf. I've used Leboeuf, who sees that the working class language is, in America in particular, in English, is just as rich and just as important, of course, as the middle class language that we teach at schools. But I think to take away something on the basis of class, origin, and things like that is just as bad, whether that class is a higher class or a lower class in our conceptualization. Because to be honest, I don't think art is really a higher class issue, because think of all the artists. I don't know, Modigliani is not a higher class. Just because an artist is being bought by higher classes or more affluent classes does not make art an affluent sort of I don't know, an affluent identity politics related thing. It's not, it doesn't belong to a class, art. I think that's a problem, although I understand, of course, the need to prioritize what you're going to teach your children. And in that respect as well, I think what's important is to remember, talking about literary art now, to remember that things should be judged according to merit and not according to whether they serve a view of ours. Like, you know, you can't, which we do nowadays, I find, you can't have artists who write in middle class language, let's say, just because they write in middle class language. They have to have an exceptional cultivation of that language. If they don't, then you use them as means to an end, and that destroys the purpose of the thing. So yeah, I don't know if I made myself clear in this in the past few moments here, but I think I give the gist of the whole thinking.